Hello friends, Jen the Money Medium here. How are you today? I hope you're blessed today with lots of magic and abundance surrounding you, and that you're manifesting the life that you truly love. I had this question come in, and it's a really wonderful one to cover. What do you do when self-sabotage and resistance show up while you're on your journey to sort of manifesting, creating, and up-leveling in the life that you want? And, I love this question because these sabotages and the resistance that comes up, it comes up for all of us, for everyone, when we are in the midst of change, because what our subconscious really wants is to stay where it's comfortable, right? So when we step out of that space of what we're used to, what we're familiar with, what's comfortable, what we know, whether it's about money or the kind of home you live in, the kind of job you have, how you let people value you, stepping up in that area, all kinds of our resistance can show up. I'll cover that first and then move to self-sabotage. So resistance, first of all, is not what a lot of people think it is. And there's a man, Stephen Pressfield, who wrote a book called The War of Art, and a couple of others. I've read a few of his books, all very good. That he puts a really good perspective on resistance. And basically, to put it really basic, when you are about to or trying to do something different than you've always done, your subconscious, your ego, whatever you want to call it, is going to show up and be like, we're not doing that. I don't know what to do here. But it's at a subconscious level. People think they know what resistance is, but they don't. Resistance isn't you not wanting to do something. Resistance is it's showing up like I'm tired, or I'm sick, or I don't want to talk to anybody, or you take up an old addiction, or things show up in your life so that you can't. Maybe there's like floods in your area because you don't want to do it. You can't get past it. Seriously, we create amazing, we are very powerful beings. And I've seen it where somebody has had such resistance to things that things show up out there in the natural world that don't allow them to move forward. Now, it looks like something happened out there in the world. Now I have an excuse that I don't have to move forward, don't have to do it. But actually, it was your deep subconscious asking to not do anything uncomfortable, to not do anything you're not familiar with. And that comes up a lot for people in the form of being too tired to get up and go do something. Sickness shows up a lot for people in the form of resistance, hurting their bodies so they're taken out of the game. And the trick is when resistance shows up, you've got to actually be aware enough to acknowledge that it's your own resistance and not something just outside of you that's happening. Or I got sick. If you get sick and while you're about to go and do something that's huge and different, because it will always show up just as you're just about to do something. So once you get to know where and how your resistance shows up, you get to talk to it. You don't just go, oh, I hate this resistance that shows up. I'm gonna, you don't judge it and make it wrong. You get to know it. That's where the power is. And then you get to say, oh, I'm sick? Right, I was going to show up for that speaking event today, but I'm feeling too sick. You do it anyway. Those are the moments that you do push through. Now, if you're somebody who works themselves to the bone and to burnout all the time and you're tired, take the time out. This would be somebody who does not do that. Okay, it's different for everyone. You got to get to know your own resistance. If suddenly you come down with the flu when you're just about to go to the banker and talk about a big mortgage that you're a little bit scared of, go and do it anyway. If you are so tired that you can't pull yourself out of bed, get into the shower and do it anyway. You've got to override the resistance. You've got to tell it who's boss. Okay? Now, of course, there's times where somebody really does need the rest, but there's a difference. There's a difference between needing the rest and it showing up as resistance, and you'll know the difference. Now, self-sabotage works in a very similar way, except there's a bit of a difference in the way that self-sabotage shows up. Self-sabotage shows up often as old addictions or toxic ways as you're moving forward that pull you back into the old paradigm, into the old you, because that's what is familiar, right? So you might be doing really well, maybe you're writing a book, it's going well, and all of a sudden you start drinking a little bit more than usual. I've seen this, I knew somebody who had made it to the NHL, but they all of a sudden started drinking so much that they got kicked out. You know, they couldn't do the work involved. They were hungover all the time. So his dream came true, and then he sabotaged it. So it's you become so self-aware of when your sabotage shows up and how your resistance shows up, and you get to know it, and you learn to override it. You learn to have so much self-control that even though you want to drink yourself out of the dream, you decide to do the dream. Don't have the drink, right? That's just a little tiny speck on resistance and self-sabotage. I hope that helps you. Let me know. I'm always up for answering your questions or talking about something that you're wondering about or wanting to improve on. So please comment below if there's anything that you'd like me to speak on. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will talk to you soon. Rich blessings.